Hey everybody, welcome to Live Coding with Jesse. Today, I am wearing my high school football jersey. We had a special day at work where you could wear jeans and your favorite team's jersey if you donated some money to a charity. So, I decided why not wear my jersey, because pretty much never ever have an appropriate occasion to wear it. And when I say football, I mean American football. So for those of you from other countries, I know football means what I call soccer. Let's see. Oh, I need to get my Spotify going. Yesterday's Throwback Thursday playlist was all 90s music, which was really fun, because I grew up in the 90s, so maybe I'll just play that. There we go. Let's listen to 90s music today in the background. Alright, so today we're going to work on some of the same stuff we were working on yesterday, and we may switch it up and do some stuff on the home page, or maybe like in the app bar at the top. We'll see how it goes. I did get some more data transferred over, so I don't plan on making any more routes, but if we could use that universal component to check on some of that data, then that'll be cool, and then we can look at the styles for that. I'm going to say hi to everyone. Niki's here. How's it going? Olsas, Victor, Sandbay says, I like your jersey. Thank you. Sandbay says, hey, you play football in high school and we play cricket. Cool. I've actually never played cricket before. I've only seen it like in movies, really. It looks fun, though. John Hansen says, that's cool. It's a good way to donate to charity. Yeah, it's cool. We do that occasionally. I think we have a day like that in Christmas where you bring in presents, and then they give it to local children whose families don't have enough money to buy them presents for Christmas. So we get like you can wear a Christmas sweater day. Let's see. Sambe says, what charity? I don't remember what it's called. I gotta check the email. I still haven't written my check yet for it, so I need to look up the name anyway. Let's see. Oh, it's gonna go to a scholarship fund. So students who do not have enough money to attend school here will get financial help, so that's cool. All right, so let's get started. I want to make sure I start my timer. Oh, and we can't go longer than an hour and a half. I have a meeting with my boss. He wants a timeline for when everything's going to be done, not only for this site, but for some future projects and future additions to the site, which I'll have to remember to tell you about today. I said I was going to tell you yesterday, and then I forgot. So we can talk about that maybe later. Hopefully I won't forget again. Let's see. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but maybe I'm not. Maybe I just didn't have a lot of stuff to say. Oh, I know what it is. I want to say thank you to Niki for the pull request. So as you all probably noticed, if you've been watching for the last few days, I keep having to restart the server manually every time we make a change in the server.js file. So now we're, as Harshit suggested yesterday, we're using NodeMon to watch for changes on a server.js file and automatically restart the server. So it'll save a little bit of time. It'll definitely save me some annoyance. And anyways, that's really cool. So if you have the repo and you do a pull, make sure you run yarn, because we have some new NPM packages in there. So it won't work otherwise. But now it is kind of cool. We don't need to manually restart. All right, Harsha, thank you for reminding me to switch my screen. There we are. And Sanbei asks, one question, you like your boss? I do really like my boss. Yep. I knew my boss before I got the job here. We're actually both officers in this non-profit. So I co-founded a nonprofit here where I'm from, and so he's our treasurer for that nonprofit organization. So we kind of knew each other beforehand, and now, yeah, I really like my boss. So he's a good boss. I like everybody in my department is great. It's really nice. Nice place. All right. Wow. A lot going on there. Don't really need to see that though right now. Let's start our timer and get to work. Also, let's go to the home page. No. Okay, it is a link. For a second, I didn't think it was a link. Nothing was happening, but so I just wanted to go here and show you all. This is my boss. Tom Crow is my boss, and that's his picture. That's a pretty old picture, but he still pretty much looks exactly the same. All right. So where are we at? I honestly do not remember at all where we left off. I think, remind me if I'm wrong here. Correct me if I'm wrong here. The last thing that we worked on was the size for H tags. I think that's what we had done. We had changed font sizes. We changed some font weights, and we did. All right, I'm almost positive this is what we did yesterday, and we kind of ended by testing that out and looking at the various fonts. Jeff Miller, thank you for reminding me about the ngrok link. Let's get that started. There we are. ngrok link is now in the live chat. All right. Well, since I'm on the home page right now, let's just check the home page and see what's going on. If there's anything that we really need to change, style-wise. Let's see. And in case you didn't watch the stream when we talked about this, I want to do everything from a mobile point of view first, and we're going to obviously pay attention to desktop view, but I think this is the better way to go given our audience of mostly American teenagers. All right, so we can check this out. All right, so here's something that I've been meaning to change for a while. Let's change the width. First, I'm going to make this side navigation drawer a little bit more narrow, and I want to see how that looks, and then potentially change the width of this. You see right now we have more space on this side than we do on this side. So I don't want to change it yet. I'm going to wait and see what happens when we make this a little more narrow. Alright, so we can just test it out in DevTools here at first. Let's see. Let me get that container. Here we are. Our width. Alright, let's figure out where the width is. It must be in a larger component, maybe? Or a smaller one? That's interesting. I'm going to check this component because I'm not sure where that's coming in from. Let me make this font a bit bigger for everyone. We can shrink this, and let's check out our drawer component. Drawer. So I'm guessing it's some prop or something. Is the list with 300? Interesting. Maybe it's just getting the width from the list. So where's our list? Classes list. So this div is what's 300. Okay. Alright, it's this div. Okay. Now we can shrink it here. Oh, okay. I like that. I don't like that it's a weird number, but alright, let's check it out. I want to make sure it looks like everything will fit. And it does look like everything will fit. I like how all this looks. The spacing is good. I was hoping that that would happen, that when we shrunk the drawer a bit, that this would work itself out to save us a bit of time. Actually, I really like that, and I plan on decreasing the indent, decreasing the white space here. So we'll actually have even more space for our menu items when we do that. That'll actually probably be the next thing we work on. So I want to keep the width here. So let's go back to our component. And up here, this is going to look a little bit different than your normal CSS, right? We're in a React component, and in React components, generally you'll find a lot of different ways to do styles, but one of the ways is to actually put it right in the component like this. And so it's a constant, and it is a JavaScript object. But we still use all the same names and properties as we do in CSS. We just camel case them, or we put them we make them strings. So a little bit different, but once you get used to making things strings, camel casing, and obviously using the correct formatting for an object, it's basically the same as normal CSS. And when we want to apply it down here, well, at least for the way we have this set up, we just use class name equals, and then we put brackets to denote we're using some JavaScript, and then we just do that classes.list, right? Because remember, it's an object, so we're putting in here the classes object, and then the list property, right? Because if you see this is like key values, right? We have list, but then in the value is another object that contains a key value pair of width 300, right? So we can use dot notation to grab that value. Anyway, so a little refresher or introduction, depending on where you're at with your React training. So anyway, let's change this value. So I believe we added at 265. And I'm not set on 265, but I'd like to try it out for a little bit and see how I like it. And I do want to do a refresh just to make sure that worked. Yep, and that worked. Okay, now let's check out our items here. which that's interesting. These are actually H3s. Very interesting. And these are, I don't believe that we made these H3s. We can double check when we go back to the component, but I think this was what they become in MaterialUI. It's really interesting. Alright, so why is it? That's this one, right? Padding left 56. Whoa. Alright, so I don't want to go all the way to 56, but I also don't want to be completely, the other way. So let's try a more reasonable padding of 16 pixels. I think 16 is way more reasonable. Alright, wonderful. I like 16. I think that looks really good. And some of the items now are actually displaying on one line instead of two. Some of them are just too big. We're not going to be able to fit them all on one line. And that's okay. Alright. I like that. I like that. Alright, so let's just figure out where this value is coming in at. So it was at 50 something. So let's check out. Oops. This drawer. Let me check out this drawer component. We may need to go to the drawer item though. Let's check drawer item. Theme spacing, padding left. Maybe it's here. Maybe this is where we're getting that value. Theme spacing unit times 4. Alright, where are we using this? Nested. Alright, so it looks like we're only using nested on these ones, so that shouldn't be the problem. So these are the submenu items. So this is this list item text. This is really what we're dealing with here. What we wanted to change. Expand less. Let's see. Maybe that's a default somewhere in MaterialUI. Alright, so we may just need to add in something here to override that default. I want to double check and see where that was at. List item text insert first child. Alright, so we're here. This H3 here. I just got to figure out where exactly to put this. Oh, Lin Wang says, use React for Chrome. Good idea. Let's check this out. Where are we at? React. Why am I not seeing anything? There we are. It's just nested very deeply. List item. This one might be a little bit more difficult to get access to. So anyway, you can see there's definitely a difference between what we see in our code. So we have a div that's containing this, and then we have a list item, and then this is our list item text, which this is probably where we can try to put it, put our new padding value. But then over here, there's a lot of other things happening here that get created by MaterialUI. So let's first let's just try to put it here, and we can do class name equals, put in some brackets, and we'll go classes dot list item. We'll name it list item, and then that way if we need to add any more classes, we'll put it on there. You know what? We don't want this to be all list item. Let's call it we're going to say parent list item. Okay, that works. Yeah, because it's just a little bit more clear where we're putting these. All right, so we want to do padding left of 16 pixels. Let's save that and check back over here. Let's go back to our elements here and see. Now we have that padding left. Well, let's do a refresh to make sure we're not just getting the same thing we put into DevTools. Nope, and it did not work. So let's find out if those styles even got applied anywhere, and if so, where. So we needed them to be applied here. It looks like they did. We got a padding left of 16 here. Alright, so it's still being overridden. So here's what we can do. And this is like we are definitely going to be able to override everything if we do this. Style. Let's get rid of this. Let's add this in. Oops. Padding left. There we are. Alright, so what's happened here, and let's remove this before we forget and keep things clean. So what we're doing here is adding in inline style, okay, which if we know about your CSS, we know that inline styles in that cascade of what gets applied, they're almost always applied over everything else. The exception being if we want to use important with our styles, which we should use very, very sparingly because it totally breaks the whole cascading nature of CSS. Oh, I see. We have Jeff put important in here too. Yeah, for sure. Important is like the next step. If this doesn't work, then we go to important. But there are like levels of how I override things. So I don't want to jump there immediately unless I really need to. Yay, this one worked. Oh, but we have issues still. Okay. So before, when we did 16 here, it worked. So I guess we're gonna have to put 16 for these as well. So I wonder now about this, the nested stuff. Where's that nested class? On the list item. Alright, so it's not actually on the text part. So this nested value, basically what I'm seeing here is that we can put a padding value here that won't mess with this padding value. So if we set this to 16 as well, it should fix all of our issues. So we can just copy and paste at this point, right? I'm not going to try to put it up in our normal styles because we know those will get overridden. So let's put this here. Oops, and save. Great. All right, so that's the look that we're really going for. Wonderful. Cool. That looks good. While we're at this point, let's commit this, because I think we're going to move on to something different. You know, there's one more thing we can do for this list before we commit. Sorry, I keep going the wrong way. Normally I always have my code to the right of the actual site in Chrome, but for some reason I left this to the left, and now it's messing me up. So we had in our props for, is it drawer? No, maybe it's at bar. Search open, search text. Did we bring it all the way up to layout? I think we did, right? Okay. I do want to set all these by default to false. So we had one as true for testing. So I want to set those to false now, so we don't have one of those menu items automatically open. Alright, so now that we have that, let's commit this. So we'll do a get status just to verify that what we've changed. Drawer item, and layout. That's good. What did we change in drawer? Oh, okay. The width was in drawer. All right. It's always good to check, just in case maybe you accidentally hit the keyboard, didn't realize it, and changed the component you don't want to change. You don't want to commit that and then have to undo it and mess up. You know, you end up having a couple commits for something that shouldn't have had a commit at all. All right, so we're going to do a get add, and I'm just going to put a little dot there, a little period, and that means we'll add everything. And now this is something different. We're going to do yarn CM, and that's been set up. Who did that? Did Nikki do that, or was that Angel? Let me know. I can't remember who did that. I think it was Nikki's idea. Anyway, we're going to do yarn CM, and when I hit enter, you'll see in a second, this is going to walk a user through, or a developer through, the steps to make a well-formatted commit message. So this is going to make the commit log be more meaningful, and it'll be a lot easier for someone just to quickly, you know, kind of look through the commit log and find what they want. So this, we'll say this is a new feature. Most of the things that we do are new features. And you can enter the scope. This is not mandatory. I'm going to skip it for now, but you could enter, you know, what is this effect? What component? Then this is not optional. We need to write a short description. So in this case, we're going to do narrow the drawer and so I'm saying narrow the drawer and decrease left padding for drawer menu. All right, so something like that. It's just straightforward. Let somebody know what happened. We don't need a huge description here. If you want to provide a more in-depth description, you can do that here on the next line. But you can also skip this. I usually skip it. If I did something that was really complicated, then maybe I might think about putting it in here. Especially, I mean, if you're going to do a pull request, you're probably going to describe it anyway, but just, you know, for future people that might be maintaining it, if it's potentially confusing, then try to explain it. In this case, these changes are pretty minor and straightforward, so probably not needed. Are there any breaking changes? No, not that I know of. Does this affect any open issues? I think it does. Maybe it doesn't. I can't remember if I made an issue. Let me look at the issues for this repo. So our current is, we have 5 issues. Bible plugin, commit message, for mainstream materialize, and content occupation. No, it actually isn't. So I guess I never made this an issue. It was just an issue in my mind. So it doesn't affect any open issues. Now it's going to run our auto formatting, linting, all our tests. And now it's going to open up Chrome and make sure things are rendering the page correctly. So we don't have full test coverage right now. If we did, the test would take a lot longer. But right now everything's passing, which is great. And the final step then is to do a git commit. Git push. I'm going to say origin, and that's automatically going to push to our master branch. And there we are. Now all this is available at the repo description. The link is in the description if you want to check that out. All right, I'm going to check the time before we go on. I have no time. Did I remember to start that? What time is it? Yeah, that makes sense with the time. Okay. Somehow I just didn't notice the beeping that was happening. Okay, let me go back to the live chat. I'm going to take a 5-minute break and go through and read what's in the live chat and answer any questions that might be there. Sambe asks if there's any live for Android Studio. I don't know. Yeah, if there's I'm assuming you're asking if there's a live stream for Android Studio. I don't know of any live streams for Android Studio. If any of you know about that, please let us know in the live chat. Balaji asks to make proper playlists, please. I know. It's on my list of things to do. I've been really busy, and I've been trying to do my best to not do a lot of work at home and to be with my 4 kids. I'm just really trying to enjoy them while they're still young and be there for them. I've been working a little bit extra lately to get this project done. I still have clients, and then now I have this JavaScript.af side project going, which I'm not really doing that much coding. It's more like, I don't know, like direction management stuff for that, which between all of it, it's just a lot right now. So I really understand why you want proper playlists, and I think it's important, and I will try to get that done at some point. Evan Yuan says hello, and it says, as a front-end developer in Shanghai, China, now it's 1 a.m. Wow, well, thanks for staying up and watching so late. I really appreciate that. Rook says, add a max width percentage to the drawer so it's bigger on larger screens, but only takes up a certain portion of the screen maximum. Yeah, how would... Yeah, actually, that's a good idea. Now that I've done it like this, I'm going to leave it like this for now. When we do check it out and see how it looks on a large screen, if it looks weird because it's so narrow, then we'll go with the max width percentage. But that probably would have been a better solution than what I did. So sorry I didn't look over, Nikki, and see that suggestion earlier. John Hansen says, I would still like to see an X, even if it sits in the backdrop, better UX UI. Oh, yeah, for sure. So John Hansen is talking about in the side nav having an X here. We could do an X, or we could do like an arrow pointing this way. Either one. I'll have to see what is more common. Maybe I'll check some other material design style sites. And then that way when a user clicks that, it also makes this go here. You know, that maybe I'll make an issue for that. I don't think I really want to get into that right now on the stream. Because it's not a style thing. It's more of a function thing at this point. This stream is going to be more just style based. So maybe I'll make an issue for that. Or John, if you want to, you can make an issue. And we'll just add that in. If someone else makes an issue for it first, a really helpful thing to do would be to maybe screenshot a website that has something like that, just to give a visual example. You know, especially there's people from all over the world that are reading, you know, that are watching and reading what's in the repo. So if English isn't their first language, might not be that good with it. An image, I think, is way more helpful. To be able to get, okay, that's what is meant here. So anyway, I think being able to add an image into an issue, you know, whenever possible, I think is a good idea. I don't want to picture you just smiling or something, though. I'm sure you're all beautiful, but I mean like an image of a website. Let's see. Lynn Wang says, what are you doing? Help somebody to change UI. Yeah, we're developing a website, and today I was just going to work on the UI part of the site. Shumham says, create Angular apps, and then also added something descriptive, which I'm not going to say. Well, we don't do Angular apps right now. We've been doing React. Nothing against Angular. I know, you know, people that are great developers that are using Angular, but you know, we just on this stream we're focusing mainly on React. So I'd rather focus on React right now and get really good at it. Maybe we'll use Angular someday. I'm not sure, but I'm trying to think if we have other videos. We may have Angular videos on the channel. I can't remember offhand, though, if we have them. I can see you all thought I was going to use important, huh? I didn't have to this time. I controlled myself, and I didn't jump straight to using important. Lin Wang says, where can I see your code? The link is in the description to this video. It'll take you right to the repo, and you can see all the code. Oh, Jeff Miller just gave the same answer. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. I didn't see that first. Oh, okay. Rook. That's awesome. So Nikki is Rook. So if you hear me use those words, it's the same person. So Nikki says, just press enter on the yes or no questions to pick the default. The default is with the capital letter. So Not sure why I didn't pick up on that. It seems really obvious right now after you said that. So, whoops, wrong way. But like, when we were up here, I actually typed in the N, and I probably did not have to, assuming the N was the capitalized one. Thanks for letting me know. I'll actually really, really appreciate just being able to hit enter now. All right, one last question before we go back and do some more coding. Nikki says, what is good GitHub issue etiquette? Asking because the issue I created on this site has the worst title ever, and I also don't know if I should close the commit discussion. Okay, I'm no expert in etiquette, so I'm just going to say what I prefer as someone who maintains, repositories. Try to be descriptive but very brief in your in the title for your commit. So, I mean, you may even want to start out and put like bug : and then say what it is, or something like that. Just try to be as descriptive as you can. Check out too if a repository has information on what they want, then definitely follow that. Not every repository does, but some do. But just in general, keep that short and descriptive, and then in your actual description, you can go into more depth. Include as much info as you can. Screenshots help as well if that applies. And when it comes to closing it, if someone submits a pull request that fixes it, then it should be closed. If for some reason it doesn't get closed when that happens, then if you created the issue, you're probably safe to go and close it. If it's just a discussion, if let's say the discussion comes to a conclusion where a decision is made, I'd say you're probably safe to close that as well. Yeah, if, let's say you ask a question and it's no longer relevant, like you found the answer, you realize your question was unnecessary if it was answered elsewhere, you can close it. That's going to be kind of a judgment call type of thing, whether or not you want to close it. If worse comes to worse, you could always, just say, hey, any objections if I close this, right? I'm pretty easygoing when it comes to my repos. Some repos, the maintainers, it's hard to tell tone from text, but the maintainers seem a little bit irritated. So sometimes that happens. Just kind of realize they probably are dealing with a ton of issues all the time, so I'm sure it gets frustrating. But anyway, that's my advice for GitHub issues. I'm sure there's probably a guide out there that does a much better job than I just did at explaining all that. Okay. Let's go back. And what were we doing? Alright, so we just finished up with some things in this side nav. Now, let's look. Oh, I know what I want to do. I mentioned yesterday that I definitely want to increase the white space here at the top of this logo. So let's do that now. Image. Yeah, I definitely just want to do it for this image or the span that's containing it. I don't want it to extend any further, like to this container, because I really like how this is vertically centered here. You know what, actually, now that I think of it, this is going to increase the height of everything. So maybe it should be on the container. All right, we'll mess around with it and see what would be the best to do. I guess I can do a bit here just to see. So we'll do padding, top. Padding or margin would work here. It's not going to make a difference. And let's try 8 pixels first. See, this is what I was afraid of, is that it would throw off this. So 8, I wouldn't go any more than 8 here. I don't know what you all think, but 8 pixels almost seems like too much space to me. I'm thinking 6. I like 6 a lot more. Let's go with 6. Usually 8's my minimum for that kind of thing, but 8 just looked way too big. Now, let's take it off of here and try putting it on our container. Padding top, 6 pixels. There we are. That looks a lot nicer in terms of our icon. So let's try to take that 6 pixels of padding on the top. You know, let's extend this as well, just to make sure it's not messing anything else up. Yeah, we have some weirdness going on the desktop, so we'll get to that next. First, let's get this sorted out. Alright, so this is most likely in the app bar component, so let's check that out. Icon. Alright, so the icon and the image are inside of this div. We already have a class on it. This is given the class of column 1. I don't think that's what we want though. We want the whole thing, right? That's what we did. So is it toolbar? There's toolbar end. Actually, let me just do this. Alright, so toolbar pretty much does everything. So let's add the class name. Oh, actually app bar already has a class as well. We could just add to that. Yeah, let's just add the app bar since the class already exists, so it'll save us a bit of time. Ooh. Let's go padding top. Oops, need to camel case that. And 6 pixels. We'll save it and give it a refresh. Alright, great. So that works. We have our padding. Awesome. I gotta keep an eye on the time. Alright, looks like we're good. We'll be able to finish out this. I'll keep an eye on the live chat too. If there's not a lot of questions, then we can definitely finish out this Pomodoro cycle. If there are a lot of questions, I might end a little early so I can get the questions in before my meeting. Alright, great. So we've gotten it working now. I'm sorry, we've got it looking better now on a small screen. Now I would like to switch it to a larger screen and see what we can do about this, because it's not at all what I would like to see. Whoops. Alright. So there's just way too much space here. Unnecessary. And then it's causing a lot of unnecessary space here. I think that size of that logo is fine. I don't want to make this huge to somehow like make up for this. I think that would just cause another problem of having a logo of too big. So let's try to decrease that space in here. So let's figure out where that space is coming from first. Oh, I think this is it. Let's check that line height. I mean, it could just be regular height, I suppose. 72. Where is it getting that from? Alright, so let's dig down a bit. Okay, definitely not from within here. Let's go up. That's odd. That's really odd. I mean, we can obviously get rid of some padding. That would be fine. But the height is just still just too tall. Line height. Yeah, and our line height here is not. Yeah, the line height's not really even affecting that space. Alright, we might just have to set a height then on this div. So let's try that out. Let's go height, and let's just set 30 pixels. There we are. Interesting. Let's see what it looks like now. Alright, let me see. I'm going to go back to the live chat and see if anyone has mentioned a better solution. Ah, okay, Nikki, good thought. Nikki says that maybe it's the search bar that's causing the height issue. I like that idea. I did not even think about that, but I'm pretty sure that you're right about that. So let's check out the search bar. Let's see. Maybe not. Nikki, I really thought that that would have been it, but I'm not seeing extra height there for the search. Okay, if we all right, so if we take away display block from these, then it actually it bumps this up a little bit and definitely makes that smaller overall. I just want to see if there are any side effects that are happening if we do that we don't want. One thing I noticed is that these are now spaced out a lot farther, which it looks like that could be changed if we get rid of our margin. Okay, so that's better. Still want to have a margin over here, I guess, but it may be better to actually put that on the search. It would be easier. Okay, let's see. We may be able to center these. It's gonna work on that. No, let's put it on the. Do we not have a UL? We just have LIs. All right then. Okay, guess that's not gonna work. This is okay. All right, well that's I guess a first step. Let me go to the live chat and see what you all think. Well, John says, do you think the hamburger, so this icon here, could be visually bigger? The click size is 48 by 48, which is very good. The problem is the UI seems to control that hamburger at its visual size. Yeah, so you're right. Yeah, the click area is actually bigger than the size here. Yeah, I'm open to maybe changing the size of this. I'd go look before I change it. I'd like to check the material design documentation and see if there's a standard size that we should use. Okay. Well, let's go down this hole here. Let's go down this path and see what happens if we try to remove this block, this display block from all these A tags, and then we'll go from there. So it looks like the only real issue is the spacing, and I think we can deal with that. My music ended. I'm so used to having music on when I'm coding that it just becomes really weird without it. So let me get something else on here quickly. All right. I have so many messages on my phone. I don't understand. Okay, so let's get this over to a component. display block. Alright, so inline is now the display. I suppose it's worth it to try to go through a few of these values first. Inline block actually looks pretty good. So does inline flex, inline grid. All right, any reason that I should do something else? So basically, these inline block, flex, and grid are all looking pretty good. Let me know if there's some reason why I should go with one or the other. I'm just going to default to inline block for now. Alright, so let's find these A tags. See if we can put change their display to inline block. So we're probably here at app bar menu item. I believe this is the component that we want. I'm sorry, I meant to say style. This this UL link class. And list li for the margin. We want to take that away. So for now, let me just make it 0 because I don't want to completely remove it in case we need to put it back in. Give it a refresh. All right, not bad. Not bad. Definitely, it does mess up a little with the positioning of this search icon. So now the search icon appears to be a little tall. We may be able to solve that simply by making this icon a little bigger, which I think would be fine. So, but that'll be the next step. First, let's shrink it, make sure it fits. Okay. Alright, cool. Looks like everything fits. And let's see, we still have a space here, more space than I really want. Oh, did it not get applied? Is that why we have that space? Cursor point, pad at bottom, text decoration none. That's weird. It should have been. There we are. I think it got applied this time. Yep, it was applied this time. Display inline block. Alright, so now we've kind of filled that gap here, which is good. This could maybe be a bit tighter here, but I think that's acceptable. And let's work on this search icon. Let's make the search icon a bit bigger and give it some left margin or padding. And maybe we can move on and do something with these search icons and this button here. I think I'd like to change a little bit about how this looks. Let's see. Alright, we're not going to be able to do all that. I won't have time to do all that, but let me know what you think. I I don't know that I really like this button being here. I think it might be better to have just text, but maybe accented like in a different color so we know it's clickable. I don't know. I think it's too much. It's just too much right here. I don't think we need to highlight this that much. It just takes users to access FUS. So it's essentially like a login button. But it's not even for our primary audience. This is for an internal audience. There it comes. My usual time of day to start yawning. Alright. Okay, well, we're not going to have time to work on that anyway, but we just kind of think about what might work. Let's check this out. It's our SVG. Alright, yeah, let's take our SVG and let's do a, whoops, padding left, and let's try 8 pixels. I like it. 8 pixels looks pretty good. Let's also see if we can add, if we can increase the size here. So let's go height, and I don't know, 25 pixels, width 25 pixels, and this is not 35, 32, 25. Is it not actually increasing? There we are. I just had it set too low. Width. All right, that gives us a click area of 40 by 40. Which is still a little small, but remember, this is not going to be visible on mobile. So in terms of just a click with the mouse, this is fine. If we wanted to have something be clickable on a mobile device, on a touchscreen device, you want it to be like definitely above 40. I'm trying to think what the standard is. Is it 48 by 48? Essentially, you want it to be clickable with somebody's thumb, especially if somebody has a larger thumb. So that's why you want to make sure you have a large click area. You don't want people to accidentally click the wrong thing or something like that. But I think this is okay. Let's just see. I would like it to be slightly higher. So I wonder how we can accomplish that the best. Nice. A little padding bottom. But you know what? That definitely adds, it adds more than I want to the bottom here. Yeah. I don't think I want that. It adds too much. So let's see what else we can do. There we go. We changed the height. It looks like nah, that's not too, it's just not enough of a change, I think. Yeah, we're talking like a 1 pixel change. I need like a 4 pixel change here. I think I'm out of time for this one. So let's grab what worked. So we definitely want that padding, and we want it to be a bit bigger. So let's just grab this for now, and then can work on the rest at another time. So I guess we got the app bar menu item. No, that's it. It would be an app bar, right? Yeah. SVG style. So I'm going to paste that, even though I know it's not, how it's supposed to work. We'll just convert it a little bit here. Save that. And oh, we already had a hyphen width, huh? Interesting. All right, let's take this out for now and just have our padding. That was the most important thing. Okay, one refresh just to make sure that that worked. No, and it did not. Didn't work. Yeah, actually it looks like none of that is being applied. Alright, this is something... You know what, this is... I wish I didn't have a meeting. Alright, I'll have to work on this later on. Yeah, so normally I would go a little bit longer and fix this, but I have a meeting. So let me check the live chat, see if I've got all the questions, and then... yeah, we're getting kind of close to meeting time. Let's see. Sod said, try using Flexbox Align Item Center. Alright, okay, yeah. That's a good idea for that vertical align. Thanks, Sod. In some condition, Flexbox can ignore inline block. Okay. Oh, Sod says, what if you outline the button with the green color? Yeah, that's a great idea. I'll have to try that. Well, I'm going to try very hard to remember that and try it on that button. I think that might end up looking really nice. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Oliver says, what about tablets? Oliver, you're right. You know what? A tablet might be big enough that this would show up on. That's a good point. All right, so I should definitely keep that in mind, that we want this to be clickable, even like touchable, even with someone's thumb. Good thinking. I love these streams because you all have these ideas, and you know what, I don't think about those. You know, maybe eventually I might think of one or two of those things, but there's no way I'm going to think of all the stuff that you all think of. So anyway, I really appreciate all the help. Blake asks, has anyone worked with React on Rails? If so, is it easier or harder than plain React? Alright, so yeah, Blake, you probably know I've never worked with Rails before, so I definitely can't answer that. Maybe someone else has worked with that and can let Blake know in the live chat. Alright, so Rook's saying that pretty sure that space was not there before the search bar was added, so maybe it did have something to do with the search bar. In any case, I think we're getting close to a pretty decent solution here. So I think we'll be all right, and we won't even have to really mess with the search bar too much. Just want to kind of get this stuff moved up a bit and get this the proper size and click area. All right. Well, I'm at the end of the live chat now, and it was somewhat of a shorter stream. I mean, we're at an hour and 14 minutes, so I guess it wasn't that short. It just went by quickly for me. But we did get some things done. We got that side drawer is looking nice. I mean, that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's ready to launch. That looks good. And then this app bar at the top, it's getting there. It's getting there. It's not, this is not launch ready in my mind, but it's close. So anyway, it's Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see y'all back on Monday. Monday, the stream's probably going to be a little later than normal. It's going to be tough. I don't know what time I can stream because I have an appointment. I have like appointments during my normal stream time, and then after, we'll see. I'll try my best to stream on Monday, but Monday and Tuesday, it'll definitely be different times than normal because of meetings and things. So just a heads up on that. I'll let everyone know on Twitter, and I'll try to schedule as early as possible so y'all get a heads up. Oh, okay. Nikki says friendly push reminder. Okay, cool. Yeah, I will push this. I kind of wanted to get it fixed before I pushed it, but I think I'll just push it so you have it all. I'll do that, though, as soon as I end the stream. And, yeah, so anyway, again, have a great weekend. I'll be back on Monday, hopefully. And I was going to say have a great weekend again, but that would be silly. All right. Anyway, I'll see y'all later.